10 months back, the then Indian Deputy Consul General to the United States was arrested, strip-searched and humiliated. Today, Devyani Khobragade joins us to talk about that trauma and much more. Devyani, thank you so much for speaking to us. My first question to you, exactly what had happened on 12th of December 2013?
It was a normal morning and I was walking to my daughter's school, dropped her, came out of the school, and there were these two people, one woman, one man, waiting there for me, and they asked me if I was Devyani Khobragade. I said yes, and they said that they were from the BDS, which is the Bureau of Diplomatic Security. And I was like, oh hello, then why are you here? Why don't we go to my office to talk? And they said, well madam, we have an arrest warrant for you. And I said, what? Show me the arrest warrant, because they didn't even show it to me. They just said that the arrest warrant was there, I have to go to the court, and that I should proceed to the car that was waiting next to the road. And I said, show me the arrest warrant. They showed it to me, and I said, I assert full diplomatic immunity. I am the acting Consul General of India in New York today, and I shall not be arrested. And they said, no madam, you do not have full diplomatic immunity, and if you do not proceed with us now, we are going to put handcuffs on you. I said, what are my charges? Can you please tell me my charges? And then they handed over the charges to me, and before I could read them, I said, I just have to make a phone call quickly and get a lawyer. And they said, we'll provide you a lawyer. I said, no, I want my own lawyer. I called a friend. I didn't know anybody. I just called a friend of mine, a lady attorney who was working on women's issues. I called that lawyer, and then I wrote one mail to my husband, told my husband to come back from Beirut because he was not there, told my sister-in-law to pick up my daughters from school and take them away from New York because I didn't want them to hear anything on the news and so on. Told the consulate to keep a press note ready just in case it goes to the press. Asked Washington what I should do, that they should get in touch with my lawyer because I will not be allowed any phone calls after this. My phone, my bag, everything will be taken away. That is what was told to me. And then we proceeded to the court. First I was taken to the US Marshal's office. It's like a police station in the court. And as we entered the car park of the US Marshal's office and the Southern District Court of New York, everything was taken away from me. My hair clips, my jewelry, my boots were removed. They were checked. I was handcuffed.
You were handcuffed?
I was handcuffed, yes. And then I was taken to the US Marshal's office, I mean the police station. It's a police station which handles all federal criminals, people who have committed crimes, federal crimes.
So the very fact, Devyani, that you were serving Deputy Consul General on that very day, the acting Consul General to the United States, was that fact completely ignored and discounted? Did you even beyond this try and reason out with them that you do have diplomatic immunity and that you cannot be treated in this manner?
Oh yes, I said it right from the beginning. I assert diplomatic immunity. I kept saying it at every point. As they were handcuffing me, I said, do not handcuff me because I enjoy diplomatic immunity and there are certain privileges that I enjoy as a diplomat, and that involves that you give me those privileges, do not treat me like a normal criminal. And I kept saying that again and again, that you think of the dignity of the office that I'm holding today, that I shall not be treated like a common criminal. The standard practices should not apply to me. And they're like, sorry madam, the marshals will not agree to that.
What is the truth about the cavity search? Because the US Marshals, at that point in time, when there was fear back here in India about exactly what you'd gone through, there was a complete denial that you were not cavity searched. What is the truth about that?
Of course, there's a definitional, argument about what a cavity search is, because there is a digital cavity search, and another one is a passive cavity search,
What
which is
were
what I
you
was
made to go
subjected to. Well, Megha, that's too traumatic for me to talk about. I cannot describe it and I cannot talk about it, but if you look at the definitions, you will know what a digital search is and what a passive search is.
Devyani, I want you to tell me exactly what happened from the time they handcuffed you in the basement.
They just behaved like I was a common criminal. Come here, get up, sit down, sit over here. And I was holding my hands like this so that my handcuffs wouldn't show. And they opened my handcuffs and put them behind so that I could, it looked like I was handcuffed. And so then I was repeatedly, the handcuffs were removed, I had to go sign some forms, then handcuffs were put back again. Then I was strip searched by a US Marshal matron. I was taken inside a room and strip searched and cavity searched and brought out, and then I was fingerprinted, all fingers, couple of times, and then cheek swabs were done. And all this while I just kept breaking up into tears, and I had to remind myself that I'm representing a great country and I'm representing my colleagues and that I need to gain composure and gain dignity again and look dignified, and I just kept stopping and breaking down again, and it was just a nightmare.
Did you ever imagine that
No.
the situation would come to this?
Absolutely not. I had never in my wildest dreams thought that anything like this could have happened. Not there. Not in the US.
Does it hurt that you'll never be able to go back? At least till the time the charges are dropped?
Yes, absolutely.
Given the fact that your husband is an American national.
Yes, it does. It does hurt me very much. Not just because it is such an unfair thing to have happened, because I didn't even do anything and I was just trapped into this whole thing. And that's what hurts me so much, is that although I have paid this immense professional and personal cost, people still carry that impression that I am actually a very privileged elite.
That's a criticism against you. That's a
That's
criticism
yeah,
that
that's
you are an elite brute. And
yes,
that you would.
that I'm an
and
elite brute who has exploited her maid and who has, who's been protected by the government, and now her life is back. Now she's back in the country, all hunky-dory. Why aren't we taking action against her? These are the comments that keep coming on social media, and whatever happened over there in the US, that doesn't hurt as much as what
This
hurts
hurts.
is our own people's criticism, which is completely unfounded.
So then, Devyani, tell me honestly, did you flout the rules? The allegation against you is that you flouted the visa rules, that you lied under oath. Did you indulge in either of this?
No. Those are the charges against me, and they are absolutely wrong. And I think we've gone over them 1,000 times, that the first charge against me of visa fraud is that I wrote 4,500 as the salary that I was going to pay to my maid. And that's not true at all. That was the salary that I get, and that is what I had written while I was helping her to fill the forms. And anyways, as you know, that the person who signs the form, which is my domestic, is the one that's responsible for the contents and not the one who helps her fill the form. That's what the DS 160 says. So that charge is absolutely incorrect. And the second charge again of making false statement under oath, I never went to the US consulate or the US embassy, and I never stated anything under oath. So both these charges are wrong, apart from the fact that I paid her what she owed, what was owed to her, and much more than what she claims was just paid to her, that is 30,000 in India.
Given the fact that she had left your house,
Yeah.
basically absconded, and then you were asked to go to the consulate, did you at any point in time see this coming?
I had never expected something like this to happen. I really didn't. I mean, I did feel the lack of support from the US authorities when I was trying to file a missing persons complaint. I remember, the first reaction was that after she left the house, I felt that I was scared. I was like, what happened to her? I couldn't even think that she had actually taken the step and left. But yeah, I really never, to answer your question, I never thought that it would
Was
come
she
to such
ever
a-
ill-treated, Devyani?
Megha, she was not ill-treated at all. I would introduce her to my neighbors as one of the most important persons in my life because she was taking care of my children. How can you ill-treat somebody who's taking care of your children? I'm away from morning to evening. Even if I'm a rational person, I would think, okay, if I don't like her, if I ill-treat her, she'll take it out on my kids, right? There's just no way to, 19 hours of work, she had the key to the house, she could come and go. I didn't even know she was unhappy till the day she just showed up in my office and started blackmailing me. 2 days before she ran away, she came to my office and said she wants to stay outside and she wants to work outside. And I said, look, you can't work outside because that's illegal, but staying outside, I'll ask the consulate if that could be allowed because we would be worried about your security. Your security is my responsibility. And she just walked out with giving me an ultimatum saying, fraud करना तो मुझे भी आता है अगर आप मुझे रहने नहीं दोगे बाहर तो.
These were her words?
These were her words, and she walked out and I was distraught. I was just sitting and crying in my office. I went home, I told my father, I told my husband, please talk to her. Called my sister-in-law, told her, because she would chat with my housemate quite often. They were good friends. But in 2 days she just walked off. I got a call. I was standing in front of Harvard Club, and there's this woman yelling at me saying she is the lawyer of my former domestic and that she has been ill-treated and abused and underpaid and made to work for 19 hours and what are my terms of settlement. And I said, please give me your name, please give me your address, why don't you come to my office? We cannot speak like this on the phone. No, just tell us your terms of settlement now or we are going to court.
And they went to the court?
They didn't go to the court. The United States of America went to court on her behalf. In New York and DC and all these places, there is a racket which goes on of all the immigration lawyers and NGOs who actually go and ask people, do you have somebody to accuse?
This incident around your arrest, the way it was seen at that point in time, it was said that perhaps since 1971, the equations between India and US had not hit such a low as it did during the time of your arrest. Because remember all that happened. The way the Ministry of External Affairs reacted, the way the Indian government reacted. Remember the top leaders out here refused to meet delegations from US. The barricades from outside the US consulate were removed. Did you ever imagine that all of this would happen?
I think I sort of expected the way all of us, my countrywomen and men, reacted. And I'm really thankful to all of them and also proud of all of them to have reacted the way they did.
I remember at that point in time when all of this was unfolding, that you were not wanting to come back to India, that you wanted to fight it out there and settle it. But then you changed your mind. Why did you change your mind? Was there some sort of pressure that was brought upon you?
No.
How did it go? Why did you change your mind?
No, I was under no pressure, I must say. I think MEA was completely supportive at that point, and yes, I would have liked to prove my innocence there in that country itself where I was accused of. But I understand, and I mean, that's a personal wish.
Yeah.
However, the position that the government of India rightly took was that the United States had no jurisdiction on this matter, that this matter was between two Indian citizens.
Were you at any stage assured, Devyani, by the Ministry of External Affairs that they will work towards getting all the charges dropped against you?
Yes, of course, I was assured that the government will work towards it. That, as well as residual issues that are related to the case, you know, how the family was evacuated in a mafia-style operation, as if I was going to kill, you know, me and my family were some big mafia dons who were going to kill them here.
Hence my question to you, what is the status of the case as of now?
Well, I still have an arrest warrant, open arrest warrant against me, and an open criminal case against me because after the SDNY, the Southern District New York Court, threw away my first indictment, a second indictment was brought in by the US prosecutors in 2 days. And so I cannot travel to the US or I will be arrested and tried. So that's where the case stands now.
How much of an assistance are you getting from the Ministry of External Affairs as far as fighting your case legally is concerned?
Well, we are not fighting it legally, Megha. The stand of the government is that the US courts do not have jurisdiction on this matter, and therefore we will not enter into litigation there anymore, especially now that I'm here. So nothing is happening on the case from a legal point of view.
So you still...
It's just in cold storage unless and until I go there in a non-immune capacity and I get arrested and face trial, or I ask the government to waive my immunity and go myself to face trial. It just remains so.
You still stand indicted?
I stand indicted, and yes, yeah, there is an indictment.
What did the previous government do about it? When you came back, it was the Congress government here. What were you told? What did the government do? Did they move on this case as much as you would have liked them to?
Well, yes, they did. We did move on this case at that point legally. We argued it out, and we won. The indictment was thrown out because the day I was indictment, the day I was leaving, I was fully immune, and the court recognized that fact, and the arrest warrant was vacated, and
but then a second indictment came.
The second indictment came, yes, and at that point we decided that we're not going to go about it legally, but this is a political issue that needs to be resolved politically, and so that's where it stands.
How much has the government moved on it?
Things haven't moved as such much right now, but I'm hopeful that the government will, especially this government, will take it up positively, because it's not just my matter, it's about having an open judicial process against a diplomat, and it's about the stand that we took and the issues that are related to that stand. So I'm quite hopeful that things should get resolved.
Did you have this expectation from the last government? Because by the time the government changed, your case was not there on the radar at all.
Of course, it's my fond hope that things should have moved faster, which they didn't. And I was told that they will be taken up at an appropriate time in an appropriate forum. So let's see.
Did that happen?
Well, after March, this issue hasn't been, my particular case hasn't been discussed, perhaps because the idea is to take it up at a right time, and But of course, the other discussions have moved ahead in terms of privileges and immunities accorded by both sides to each other, and how to prevent these actions from happening.
That right time has still not come.
Seems like it. Yes.
Are you disappointed?
It's not a very happy situation right now, but you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to focus on getting all the anger out of me and trying to move on.
So Devyani, what are the restrictions that are there on you as of now? Can you be sent on a new assignment?
Well, there are some residual fallout issues that have come out of this, and I'm still waiting for MEA's decisions on those issues, and only after that we would know whether I could be sent abroad
As of
again.
now, you cannot be?
I don't think so.
What gives you so much hope that a resolution is in the offing, that it will come soon? What gives you this much of hope? It hasn't happened till now, so my question is this.
Well, hope is what keeps us going, right? Many people ask me, are you angry with your housekeeper? And I tell them that, I sort of understand what she did, because if in New York and DC and all these places, there is a racket which goes on of all the immigration lawyers and NGOs who actually go and ask people, do you have somebody to accuse? And we'll get you a green card, a permanent residency. I understand how tempting it may have been for her, and I have worked out all the anger. I mean, I felt more anger because of the pain that I went through. I felt abandoned when she ran away, so I can imagine how my children felt. My primary concern was that they shouldn't feel abandoned. They kept asking, where's Sangeeta Tai, where's Sangeeta Tai? And I had to tell them, oh, she's gone for her summer vacation and she'll come back in winter, and hoping that they'll forget about her till winter.
Finally, Devyani, do you have hopes from this government that they will resolve this issue, that the charges would go away, that the indictment would go away? What are your hopes from this new government?
Well, when I talk to people, family, friends and so on, they actually, first of all, they don't know. They think that my situation is sorted out, and when I tell them that I do have a criminal case against me and an arrest warrant still pending, and there's like, oh, this government will solve it. If there's anybody who can do it, it's our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister now. Those are the reactions that I get, and I get hope from that. I do get hope from that it should be resolved.
You're hoping that you would be heard soon enough?
Yes, I'm hoping that an appropriate time and forum would be found to address this, and that it's not just. And I hope that, because it's not just for me. I mean, if it were just for me, and then I wouldn't even want it. And I think I've shown that enough by the actions that I took.
Till that happens, you stay back in New Delhi and you do not go on a new assignment.
Yes.
That's how the situation is.
Seems like. But I'm always happy to come back home. Not happy to be in this situation, but I hope that through this interview, my countrymen and women understand that the woman that they supported and rallied for is not a exploitative elite individual who has no feelings for the poor and who just did things for her own personal gains. That's not what I did, Megha. And
Devyani,
that's why
all
I'm
the
here.
very best for your case. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you so much, Megha.